sperm bank opened in 1950, and the first baby was conceived in 1953. We've certainly moved a long way from there, but we still have sperm donorship. Frank, Ed are two donors. Now, let's get back to this question. How many deposits have each of you made?
Probably about one a week for about 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well,
Wait,
that sounds like a lot, but remember, not every one of these results in a pregnancy, and not every one results in a birth.
And not everyone is good either.
That's right. Not everyone survives the freezing process and all the other stuff that goes with it.
Well, this is what we learned. We learned that sperm is sold in two types. Red label, which is the regular sperm count, and blue label, which is high test.
No.
It says that 60% of women who use donor sperm conceive after spending about $2,000. And you guys say you spent about how much per vial? Or you got paid how much per vial?
Well, finally it ended up at $40 per viable donation.
I got 30 or 50, depending on whether it was the regular Zytex 30 or the blue line 50.
Well, you should have gone to the American Fertility Clinic because they pay $120 to $125 a vial.
Oh, right.
But really, let's get back to the question, though. Of course, not every donation creates an offspring,
right.
But there are an awful lot of offspring after 4 years every week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just suppose these kids showed up. 100 kids showed up. I mean, is that? Are we being a little too ridiculous about that?
I think that's ridiculous.
They limit the impact on the gene pool. At least at the bank I went to, they only allow 5 families within the state and 5 families outside of the state to actually use my sperm.
Okay.
And once they hit that, then they discontinue you, and they keep a stock just in case some of the families want to have second children.
But as ridiculous as that question may sound, it could be a reality. I mean, these are things that we're having to deal with as things go on. Let me introduce you to somebody else. Earlier we heard Sandy's story of a very difficult reunion with her birth mother, but not all of those types of reunions turn out badly. With us today is Mike Huckman. Since Mike was 8 years old, he has had a need to know his natural parents, his birth parents. Also in our audience today is Mike's mom, Bobby Moskowitz, whose happy reunion inspired her to help others locate their family members, and it also got her in some trouble with the law. We're going to talk to you in just a minute, Mom, but let's talk to your son here. Tell us about your search. What happened? Give us your story.
Well, I was a very inquisitive and stubborn and determined young man.
That's why you're a Detroit news reporter, right?
That's right. Tough news town.
Tough news town.
So when I was 18, which is the age that I could get a hold of some of this information, I went to the adoption agency where I had been adopted from in search of whatever I could get my hands on. Well, it turned out, much to my great surprise, that my birth mother had been calling there once a year around my birthday. So they had her phone number. It was literally just a phone call away, so there really wasn't much of a search to speak of. So after setting up first an exchange of letters and then an exchange of photographs and then a phone call, we actually had a reunion when I was 18 years old, which is now almost 14 years ago.
Wow. Wow. You can't help but wonder, what was that like? I mean, when you first saw each other, I mean, what did that do?
I think in retrospect, 18 may have been too young for me, because at the time I was still in college. I was, focused on getting through college and starting a career. So there's a lot that I don't remember, but I just remember afterwards that I felt a completeness that people like Colleen say that they don't have right now. Mm-hmm. And even though my birth mother, Bobby, and I didn't see each other for 5 years after the reunion took place, we have now established a very close friendship, and she has even become friends with my adoptive family, my adoptive mother, my adoptive father, and my extended adoptive family as well.
Mm-hmm. So when you hear people say that is not your right, I mean, people have a right to privacy, you shouldn't go search, what do you say to
I
that?
say that this is our birthright. This is such basic human... Rolanda, it's such basic human information. Medical histories, who gave birth to you, who fathered you. It's very, very basic information for human beings.
Mm-hmm. Bobby, let me talk to you. Boy, what was that like? That's quite
It was great. It still is. And I want to tell Mary Beth Cedar, you said reunions fall apart after 2 years.
A lot of them do.
Well, ours
Well, yours didn't.
Ours gets stronger every year.
But yours also happened in the right way. both consented. You had already let the agency know that you wanted it when he called. That's what we're asking, is let everybody decide for themselves if they want the contact. I don't care if adoptees and birth parents meet. I don't care. But I don't think anyone has a right to steal records, to impose themselves on people, to do illegal things. The end does not justify the means, and we have to stop intruding on people's lives.
And the question is, too, what happens to the rest of the family when a
That's
reunion like that
exactly
happens?
right.
I mean, the kids who suddenly have a sibling and the
Well, a lot
wife
of-
who now has another kid. I mean, how are they affected when somebody shows up and says, "Hi, Mom and Dad, guess what? I'm your kid." We're going to ask that question when we come back. And thank you so much, Brian.